If only they'd been invited to a Bacchic reveling, or a feast of Pan, or Aphrodite, or Genitillus, why, then the streets would be impassable for the thronging tambourines. Now there's never a woman here. Except my neighbor Kalanike, whom I see approaching yonder. Good day, Kalanike.
Good day, Lysistrata. But pray, why this dark, forbidding face, my dear? Believe me, you don't look a bit pretty with those black lowering brows.
Kalanike, my heart is on fire. I blush for our sex. Men will have it. We are tricky and sly.
And they are quite right, upon my word.
And yet, look you, when the women are summoned here for a matter of the last importance, they lie abed instead of coming.
They will come, my dear, but 'tis not easy, you know, for women to leave the house. One is busy pottering about her husband, another is getting the servant up, a third is putting her child to sleep, or washing the brat, or feeding it.
But I tell you, the business that calls them here is far and away more urgent.
Why do you summon us, Lysistrata? What is this all about?
It's about a big affair.
And is it thick, too?
Oh yes, both big and great.
We are not all on the spot.
Oh, if it were what you suppose, there would never be an absentee. No, no. This concerns a thing I have turned about and about, this way and that, of many sleepless nights.
It must be something mighty fine and subtle for you to have turned it about so.
So fine, it means just this. Greece saved by the women.
By women? Why, its salvation hangs on a poor thread then.
Our country's fortune depends on us. It is with us to undo utterly the Peloponnesians.
That would be a noble deed, truly.
To exterminate the Boeotians to a man.
But surely you would spare the eels.
For Athens' sake, I would never threaten so fell a doom, trust me for that. However, if the Boeotian and Peloponnesian women join us, Greece is saved.
But how should women perform so wise and glorious an achievement? We women who dwell in the retirement of the household, clad in diaphanous garments of yellow silk, and long flowing gowns, decked out with flowers and shod with dainty little slippers.
Nay, but those are the very sheet anchors of our salvation. Those yellow tunics, those scents and slippers, those cosmetics and transparent robes.
How so, pray?
Not a man will wield a lance against another.
Quick, I will get me a yellow tunic from the dyers.
Or want a shield.
I'll run and put on a flowing gown.
Or draw a sword.
I'll haste and buy a pair of slippers this instant.
Now tell me, would not the women have done best to come?
Why, they should have flown here.
Ah, my dear, you'll see that like true Athenians, they will always do everything too late. Why, there's not a woman from the shoreward paths, not one from Salamis.
But I know for certain they embarked at daybreak.
And the dames from Arcane. Why, I thought they would be the first to arrive.
The Agene's wife, if anything, is sure to come. She's actually been to consult Hecate. Well, but look, here are some arrivals, and there are more behind. Aha, now what country women may they be?
They are from Anagyra.
Yes, upon my word, 'tis a levy on mass of the entire female population of Anagyra.
Am I late, Lysistrata? Tell me, pray. What? Not a word. I cannot say much for you, Myrrhine. You have not bestirred yourself over much for an affair of such urgency.
I could not find my bodice in the dark.
However, if matters so pressing, here I am, so speak. No, but let us wait a moment more till the women of Boeotia arrive and those from the Peloponnese.
Yes, that's best. Oh, here comes Lampedo.
Good day, Lampedo, my good friend from Sparta. How well and handsome you look. What a rosy complexion and how strong you seem. Why, you could strangle a bull, surely.
Yes, I really think I could. 'Tis because I do gymnastics and practice the kick dance.
And what superb bosoms.
Ah, your feeling is of her a beast for sacrifice.
And this woman, what countrywoman may she be?
She's a noblewoman from Boeotia.
My pretty Boeotian friend, you are as blooming as a garden.
Oh, yes, on my word, and the garden is so prettily weeded, too.
And who is this?
'Tis an honest woman, by my faith. She comes from Corinth.
Ah, honest no doubt then, as honesty goes in Corinth.
But tell us, who has brought together this council of women, pray?
I have,
Well, then tell us what you want of us.
with pleasure.
What is the most important business you wish to inform us about?
I will tell you, but first, answer me one question.
What is that?
Don't you feel sad and sorry for the fathers of your children are far away from you with the army? For I'll undertake there's not a one of you whose husband is not abroad at the moment.
Mine has been the last 5 months in Thrace, looking after Eucrates.
'Tis 7 long months since mine left me for Pylos.
As for mine, if he ever does return from service, He's no sooner back than he takes down his shield again and flies back to the wars.
And not so much as the shadow of a lover. Since the day the Malaysians betrayed us, I have never once seen a 7-inch-long dildo even to be a leaden consolation to us poor widows. So tell me, if I have discovered a means of ending the war, will you all second me?
Yes, verily, by all the goddesses, I swear I will. Though I put my gown in pawn and drink the money in the same day.
And so will I, though I must be split in two like a flatfish and have half myself removed.
And I too. Why, to secure peace, I would climb to the top of Mount Tagus.
Then I will out with it at last, my mighty secret. Oh, sister women, if we are to compel our husbands to make peace, we must refrain.
Refrain from what? Tell us, tell us.
But will you do it?
We will, though we should die of it.
We must refrain from the veil altogether. What? Why do you turn your backs on me? Where are you going? So you bite your lips and shake your heads, eh? Why these pale, sad looks? Why these tears? Come, will you do it? Yes or no? Do you hesitate?
No, I will not do it. Let the war go on.
And you, my pretty little flatfish, who declared just now they might split you into two?
Anything but that. You can go through fire if you will, but to rob us of the sweetest thing in all the world, my dear, dear Lysistrata.
And you?
Yes, I agree with the others. I too would sooner go to the fire.
Oh, wanton, vicious sex! The poets have done well to make tragedies upon us, for we are good for nothing then but love and lewdness. But you, my dear friend from Harvey Sparta, if you join me, all may yet be well. Help me, conjure me. I conjure you.
'Tis a hard thing. Are the two goddesses, it is for a woman to sleep alone with, however, a strong man in the bed. But there, peace must come first.
Oh, my dearest best friend, you are the only one deserving the name of woman.
But if, which the gods forbid, you refrain altogether from what you say, should we get peace any sooner?
Of course we should, by the goddesses twain. We need only sit indoor with painted sheets, lightly clad in transparent robes of ambergris silk, employing all our charms and all our arts. Then they will act like mad, and they will be wild to lie with us. That will be the time to refuse, and they will hasten to make peace. I am convinced of that.
Yes, just as Menelaus, when he saw Helen's naked bosom, threw away his sword, they say.
But if, poor devils, suppose our husbands go away and leave us.
Then we need only flay a skinned dog, that's all.
These proverbs are all idle talk. But suppose our husbands drag us by main force into the bedchamber.
Then hold on to the doorpost.
But if they beat us,
Then yield to their wishes, but with a bad grace. There is no pleasure for a man when he does it by force. Besides, there are 1,000 ways of tormenting them. Never fear, they'll soon tire of the game. There is no satisfaction for a man unless the woman shares it.
very well. If you will have it so, we agree.
For ourselves, no doubt we can persuade our husbands to conclude a fair and honest peace. But what of the Athenian populace? Who is to cure these folk of their warlike frenzy?
Never fear, we intend to make our own people hear reason.
Nay, impossible, so long as they have their trusty ships and their vast treasures stored in the temple of Athene.
Ah, but we have seen to that. This very day the citadel will be ours. That is the task assigned to the older women. While we are here in council, they are going, under pretense of offering sacrifice, to seize the citadel.
Well said. So everything is going for the best.
Come, Lampion, let us bind ourselves by an inviolable oath.
Recite the terms. We will swear to them.
With pleasure. Now, where is our ushers? What are you staring at, pray? Lay the shield on the earth before us. It's hollow upwards, and someone bring me the victims inwards.
Lysistrata, say, what oath are we to swear?
What? Oh, why, in Aeschylus they sacrifice a sheep and swear over a buckler. We will do the same.
No, Lysistrata, one cannot swear peace over a buckler, surely.
Which oath do you prefer then?
Let's take a white horse and sacrifice it and swear on its entrails.
But where get a white horse from?
Well, what oath shall we take then?
Listen to me. Let's set a great black bowl on the ground and sacrifice a skin of Bayesian wine into it, and take oath not to add one single drop of water.
Ah, that's an oath pleases me more than I can say.
Come, let them bring me a bowl and a skin of wine.
My dears, what a noble big bowl. What a delight will be to empty it.
Set the bowl on the ground and lay your hands on the victim. Almighty goddess Persuasion, and thou bowl, boon comrade of joy and merriment, receive this our sacrifice, and be propitious to us poor women.
Oh, the fine red blood, how well it flows.
And what a delicious savor by the goddess twain.
Now, my dears, let me swear first, if you please.
No, by the goddess of love, let us decide that by lot.
Come then, Lampido, and all of you, put your hands to the bowl, and to you, Calanike, repeat in the name of all the solemn terms I am going to recite. Then you must all pledge yourselves by the same promises. I will have naught to do, whether with lover or husband.
I will have naught to do whether with lover or husband.
Albeit he come to me with strength and passion.
Albeit he come to me with strength and passion. Oh, Lysistrata, I cannot bear it.
I will live at home in perfect chastity.
I will live at home in perfect chastity.
Beautifully dressed and wearing a saffron-colored gown.
Beautifully dressed and wearing a saffron-colored gown.
To the end I may inspire my husband with the most ardent longing.
To the end I may inspire my husband with the most ardent longings.
Never will I give myself voluntarily.
Never will I give myself voluntarily.
And if he has me by force,
If he has me by force,
I will be cold as ice and never stir a limb.
I will be cold as ice and never stir a limb.
I will not aid him in any way,
I will not aid him in any way,
nor will I crouch like carven lions in a knife handle.
nor will I crouch like carven lions on a knife handle.
And if I keep my oath, may I be suffered to drink of this wine.
If I keep my oath, may I be suffered to drink of this wine.
But if I break it, let my bowl be filled with water.
But if I break it, let my bowl be filled with water.
Will ye all agree to these terms?
Yes. Yes.
Then lo, I'll now consume this remedy.
Enough, enough, my dear. Now let us all drink in turn to cement our friendship.
Tis just what I was telling you, the women have occupied the Acropolis. So now do you, Lampido, return to Sparta to organize the plot, while your comrades here remain as hostages. For ourselves, let us wait to the citadel to push the Boltzwell home.
But don't you think the men will march up against us?
I laugh at them. Neither threats nor flames shall force our doors. They shall only open on the conditions I have named.
Yes. Yes, by Aphrodite, let us keep our old-time repute of obstinacy and spite.
Go easy, Charcase, go easy. Go. Why are these shoulders all chafed by these plaguey heavy olive stalks? But forward still, forward man as needs must. What unlooked for things do happen to be sure in a long life? Yeah, Stromodius, who would ever have thought? Here we have the women who used for our misfortune to eat our bread and live in our houses, daring nowadays to lay hands on the holy image of the goddess? To seize the Acropolis and drop bars and bolts to keep any from entering? Come, Philurgus man, let's hurry thither. Let's lay our faggots all about the citadel and on the blazing pile burn with our hands these vile conspiratresses, one and all, and Lycon's wife, Lysistrata, first and foremost. Nay, Vitamir, never will I let him laugh at me whilst I have a breath left in my body. Cleomenes himself, the first who ever seized our citadel, had to quit it to his sore dishonor. Spite his Spartan pride, he had to deliver me up his arms and slink away with a single garment to his back.
My word, but he was filthy and ragged.
And what an unkempt spirit, to be sure. He had not had a bath in 6 long years.
Oh, but that was a mighty siege. Our men were ranged 17 deep before the gate, and never left their posts even to sleep. These women, these enemies of Euripides and all the gods, shall I do nothing to hinder their inordinate insolence, else let them tear down my trophies of Marathon.
But look ye, to finish our toilsome climb, we have only this last steep bit left to mount. Verily, 'tis no easy job without beasts of burden. How these logs do bruise my shoulder. But still, let us on, and blow up our fire and see that it does not go out just as we reach our destination.
Oh, dear, what a dreadful smoke. It bites in my eyes like a mad dog.
Oh, it is Lemnos fire for sure, or never devour my eyelids like this. Come on, lackeys, let's hurry. Let's bring succor to the goddess. It's now or never. Oh dear, what a confounded smoke.
There now. There's our fire all bright and burning. Thank the gods. Now, why not first put down our loads here, then take a vine branch, light it at the brazier, and hurl it at the gate by way of battering ram.
If they don't answer our summons by pulling back the bolts, then we set fire to the woodwork and the smoke will choke them.
Ye gods, what a smoke. Is there never a Samos general who will help me unload my burden? Shall not go on my shoulder anymore. Come, brazier, do your duty. Make the embers flare that I may kindle a brand. I want to be the first to hurl one. Aid me, heavenly victory. Let us punish for their insolent audacity the women who have seized our citadel. And may we raise a trophy of triumph or success.
Oh, my dears, methinks I see fire and smoke. Could it be a conflagration?
Let us hurry. All we can, flying into decay. Ere Calliope perish in the fire, or stifled by the smoke raised by these accursed old men and their pitiless laws. But, great gods, can it be I come too late? Rising at dawn, I had the utmost trouble to fill this vessel and fountain. What a crowd there was, and what a din, what a rattling of water pots. Servants and slave girls pushed and drawn. However, here I have it full at last, and I'm running to carry this water to our fellow townsmen, whom our foes are plotting to burn alive. News has been brought to us that a company of old, doddering rapiers loaded with enormous faggots, as if they wanted to heat a furnace, have taken to the field, crying that they will turn to ashes these horrible women. Suffer them not, O goddess, but of thy grace may I see Greece and Athens cured of their warlike folly. 'Tis to this end, O guardian deity of our city, goddess of the golden crest, that they have seized thy sanctuary. Be their friend and ally, and if any man throw against them light firebrands, aid us to carry water to extinguish.
Let me be, I say! Oh! What is this I see, ye wretched old men? Honest and pious folk you cannot be who act so vilely.
Aha! Well, here's something new. Swarm of women stand posted outside to defend the gate.
We frighten you, do we? We seem a mighty host. Yet you do not see the 10,000th part of our sex.
Oh, Phlergus, shall we stop their cackle? Suppose one of us was to break a stick across their backs, eh? Or let someone break out 2 or 3 teeth for them as they did to Bopulus. They won't talk so loud then.
Come then. I await you with unflinching foot, and I will snap you off like a bitch.
Silence, ere my stick has cut short your days.
Now just you dare to touch Tertullius with the tip of your finger.
And if I batter you to pieces with my fists, what will you do?
I will tear out your lungs and entrails with my teeth.
Oh, what a clever poet is Euripides. How well he says that woman is the most shameless of animals.
Come, let's pick up our water jars again, Rhodope.
Accursed harlot! What do you need to do here with your water?
And you, old death in life, with your fire, is it to cremate yourself?
I am going to build you a pyre to roast your female friends upon.
And I'm going to put out your fire.
You put out my fire. You!
Yes, you shall soon see.
I don't know what prevents me from roasting you with this torch.
I am going to do a bath ready to clean off the filth.
A bath for me? You dirty slut, you.
Yes, indeed, a nuptial bath.
Do you hear that? What insolence!
I am a free woman, I tell you.
I will make you hold your tongue, never fear.
Ah, you shall never more sit amongst the Helias.
Burn off her hair for her.
Water, do your office.
What's the Hades?
Was it hot?
Hot, great gods! Enough!
I am watering you to make you bloom afresh.
Alas, I am too dry. I'm trembling with cold.
These women, have they made din enough, I wonder, with their tambourines? Who wept Adonis enough upon their terraces? I was listening to the speeches last assembly day, and Demonstratus, whom heaven confound, was saying we must all go over to Sicily. And lo, his wife was dancing around repeating, "Alas, alas, Adonis, woe is me for Adonis." Demonstratus was saying we must levy hoplites at Zacynthus. And lo, his wife, more than half drunk, was screaming on the house roof, "Weep, weep for Adonis," while that infamous Maddox was bellowing away on his side. Do ye not blush, ye women, for your wild and uproarious doings?
But you don't know all of their effrontery yet. They abused and insulted us, then soused us with water from their water pots, and set us wringing out our clothes for all the world as if we had bepissed ourselves.
And 'tis well done, too, by Poseidon. We men must share in the blame of their ill conduct. It is we who teach them to love riot and dissoluteness, and sow the seeds of wickedness in their hearts. You see a husband go into a shop. "Look you, jeweler," says he, "you remember the necklace you made for my wife? Well, the other evening while she was dancing, the catch came open. Now I am bound to start for Salamis. Will you make it convenient to go up tonight and make her fastening secure?" Another will go to a cobbler, a great, strong fellow with a great, long tool, and tell him, "The strap of one of my wife's sandals presses her little toe, which is extremely sensitive. Come in about midday to supple the thing and stretch it." Now, to see the results, take my case. I, as a magistrate, have enlisted rowers. I want money to pay them, and lo, the women clasped to the door in my face. But why do we stand here with arms crossed? Bring me a crowbar, I'll chastise their insolence. "Oh, there, my fine fellow. What are you gaping at the crows about? Looking for a tavern, I suppose, eh? Come, crowbars here, and force open the gates. I'll put a hand to the work myself."
No need to force the gates. I am coming out. Here I am. But why bolts and bars and locks? What we want here is not bolts and bars, but common sense.
"Really, my fine lady, where is my officer? I want him to tie that woman's hands behind her back."
By the virgin goddess Artemis, if he touches me with a tip of his finger, officer of the public peace though he be, let him look out for himself.
"How now, are you afraid? Caesar, I tell you, round the body. 2 of you at her and have done with it."
By Panthrosis, if you lay a hand on her, I will trample you underfoot until you spill your guts.
"Oh, there, my guts. Where is my other officer? Bind that minx first who speaks so prettily."
By Phoebe, if you touch her with one finger, you better call quick for a surgeon.
"What do you mean? Officers, where are you got to? Lay hold of her." "Oh, but I'm going to stop your foolishness for you all."
By the torrent Artemis, if you go near her, I'll pull out your hair. Scream when you like.
"Ah, miserable man that I am, my own officers desert me. What ho, are we to let ourselves be bested by a mob of women? Oh, Scythians mine, close up your ranks and forward."
By the holy goddesses, you'll have to make acquaintance with 4 companies of women, ready for the fray and well armed to boot.
"Forward, Scythians, and bind them."
Forward, my gallant companions! March forth, ye vendors of grain and eggs, garlic and vegetables, ye keepers of taverns and bakeries. Wrench and strike and tear. Come, a torrent of invective and insult. Enough! Enough!
sure is a fine exploit for my officers.
Ha! So you thought you only had to deal with a set of slave women. You did not know the ardor that fills the bosom of freeborn dames.
Ardor, yes, by Apollo, ardor enough, especially for the wine cup.
Sir, what use of words? They are no avail against wild beasts of this sort. Don't you know how they've just washed us down, and with no very fragrant soap?
What would you have? You should have never dared to lay rash hands on us. If you start afresh, I'll knock out your eyes. My delight is to stay at home as coy as a young maid, not hurting anyone or moving any more than a milestone. But where are the wasps if you go stirring up the wasp's nest?
Great gods! How get we the better of these ferocious creatures? 'Tis past all bearing. But come, let us try to find the reason behind the dreadful scourge.
With what end in view have they seized the citadel of Cranius, the sacred shrine that is raised upon the inaccessible rock of the Acropolis?
Question them. Be cautious, but not too credulous. 'Twould be culpable negligence not to pierce the mystery if we may.
I would ask you first why you have barred our gates.
To seize the treasury. No more money, no more war.
Then money is the cause of war?
And all of our troubles. 'Twas to find occasion to steal that Pysander and all the other agitators who were forever raising revolutions. Well and good, but they'll never get another drachma here.
Well, what do you propose to do then, pray?
You ask me that. Why, we propose to administer the treasury ourselves.
You do?
What is there in that to surprise you? Do we not manage the budget of household expenses?
But that is not the same thing.
How so not the same thing?
It is the treasury supplies the expenses of the war.
That is our first principle. No war.
What? In the safety of the city?
We will provide for that.
You?
Yes, just we.
What a sorry business.
We are going to save you, my man.
Oh, the impudence of the creatures.
Oh, you seem annoyed, but there, you've got to come to it.
But 'tis the very height of iniquity.
We are going to save you, whether you will or no.
If I don't want to be saved?
And all the more reason.
But what a notion, to concern yourselves with the questions of peace and war.
We will explain our idea.
Out with it then, quick, or...
Listen, and never a movement more, please.
Oh, 'tis too much, I cannot keep my temper.
Look out for yourself. You had more to fear than we have.
Stop your croaking, old crow, you. Now you say your say.
Willingly. All the long time the war has lasted, we have endured in modest silence all you men did. We were far from satisfied, for we knew how things were going. Often in our homes, we would hear you discussing inside out and upside down some important turn of affairs. Then, with sad hearts but smiling lips, we would say, well, in today's assembly did they vote peace, but mind your own business, the husband would growl, hold your tongue, do. And I would say no more.
I would not have held my tongue, though, not I.
You would have been reduced to silence by blows then.
Well, I, for my part, would say no more. However, presently, I would come to know you had arrived at some decision more fatally foolish than ever. What, my dear man, I would say, what madness next? But he would only look at me in askance and say, just weave your web, do, else your cheeks will smart for hours. War is men's business.
Bravo, well said indeed.
How now, wretched man? Not to let us contend with your follies was bad enough, but presently we heard you asking out in the open streets, is there never a man left in Athens? And no, not one. You were assured in reply. Then, without further delay, we make common cause to save Greece. Open your ears to our wise counsels and hold your tongue, and we may yet put things on a better footing.
You put things indeed. Oh, 'tis too much. The insolence of the creatures. Silence, I say.
Silence yourself.
May I die 1,000 deaths ere I obey one who wears a veil.
If that's all that troubles you, then here, take my veil. Then put on a bodice, hard wool, munch beans. War shall be women's business.
Lay down your water pots, my dear friends and allies. We will guard them. For myself, I will never weary of the dance. My knees will never grow stiff with fatigue. I will brave everything for my companions, on whom nature has lavished virtue, boldness, cleverness, and whose wisely directed energy is going to save the state.
Oh, my good, gallant Lysistrata and all of my friends, be ever like a bundle of nettles. Never let your anger slacken. The wind of fortune blows our way.
May gentle love and the sweet Kyprian goddess shower seductive charms on all our bosoms, so we may stir so amorous a feeling among the men that they stand firm as sticks. We shall indeed deserve the name of peacemakers among the Greeks.
How will that be, pray?
First of all, we shall no longer see you running like madmen to the market, holding lance and fist.
That'll be something gained anyway by the path you've got us at will.
Now we see you mixed up with saucepans and kitchen stuff, armed to the teeth and looking like wild corybantes.
Why, of course, that is how brave men should do.
Oh, but what a funny sight to behold a man in a Gorgon's head buckler coming along to buy fish.
The other day in the market, I saw a fylark with flowing ringlets. He was a horseback and was pouring into his helmet the broth he had just bought at an old dame still. There was a Thracian warrior, too, brandishing his lance like Tereus in the play. He had scared a good woman selling figs into a perfect panic and was gobbling up all her ripest fruit.
And how, pray, do you propose to restore peace and order in all of the countries of Greece?
'Tis the easiest thing in the world.
Come, tell us how. I am curious to know.
When we are winding thread and it is tangled, we pass the spool through the skein, now this way, now that way, even so. To end the war, we shall send embassies hither and thither and everywhere to disentangle matters.
And 'tis with your yarn and your skeins and your spools you plan to appease so many bitter enemies, you silly women?
If only you had common sense, you would always do in politics as we do with our wool.
Come, how is that, eh?
First, we wash the wool to separate the grease and filth. Do the same with all that's citizens. Sort them out and drive them forth with rods, 'tis the refuse of the city. Then, for all such as come crowding up in search of employments and offices, card them thoroughly, so we may set them to the same standard, pitch them pell-mell into a basket, resident aliens or no, allies, debtors to the state, all in one. Then, as for our colonies, we must treat them as so many separate hangs, find the ends of the separate threads, draw them to a center here, then wind them into one, so the nation may weave itself a good, stout tunic.
Is it not a sin and a shame to see them carding and winding the state, these women who know neither art nor part in the burdens of the war?
What? Wretched man, 'tis a far heavier burden to us than to you. First of all, we bear sons who go off to fight far away from Athens.
Enough said. Do not recall sad and sorry memories.
Then secondly, instead of enjoying the pleasures of love and making the most of our youth and beauty, we are left to languish far from our husbands who are all with the army. But enough said of us. What afflicts me is to see our girls growing old in lonely grief.
But don't the men grow old too?
That is not the same thing. When the soldier returns from war, even if he has white hair, he very soon finds a young wife. A woman has only one summer to make hay, and if she does not make hay while the sun shines, no one afterwards will have anything to say to her. And she spends her life consulting oracles that will never send her a husband.
But the old man who can still do it.
But you, why don't you get it done with and die? You are rich. Go buy yourself a briar, and I will need you a honey cake for Severus. Here, take this garland. And this one too.
And these fillets.
What do you lack more? Step aboard the boat Quran is waiting for you. You're keeping him from pushing off.
To treat me so scurvily, what an insult! And I will show myself to my fellow magistrates just as I am.
What? Are you angry because we have not exposed you according to custom? Nay, console yourself. We will be sure to offer up the third day sacrifice for you first thing in the morning.
Awake, friends of freedom. Let us hold ourselves ready to act. I foresee a mighty peril. I suspect another tyranny like Hippias. I am sore afraid the Spartans have assembled here with Cleisthenes have, by a stratagem of war, stirred up these women, enemies of the gods, to seize upon our treasury and the funds whereby I lived. Is it not a sin and a shame for them to interfere in the advising of citizens? To prate of shields and lances, and to ally themselves with the Spartans? Fellows, I trust no more than I would so many famished wolves. The whole thing, my friends, is nothing else than an attempt to reestablish tyranny. But I will never submit.
I will be on my guard for the future.
I will always carry a blade hidden under myrtle boughs.
I will post myself in the public square under arms, shoulder to shoulder with Aristogeiton.
And now, to make a start, I must just break a few of that old jade's teeth yonder.
Nay, never play the brave men. Else, when you go back home,
Your own mother won't know you.
First, my friends and allies, let us lay our burdens down. Then, citizens all, hear what I have to say. For I have useful counsel to give our city, which deserves it well at my hands for the brilliant distinctions it has lavished on my girlhood. At the age of 7, I was bearer of the sacred vessels. At 10, I pounded barley for the altar of Athene. Next, clad in a robe of yellow silk, I was little bear to Artemis of the Baronia. Presently, grown a tall, handsome maiden, they put a necklace of dried figs about my neck, and I was basket bearer. So surely I can give my best advice to the city. What matters that I was born a woman if I can solve your misfortunes? I've paid my share of tolls and taxes by giving men to the state. But you miserable graybeards contribute nothing to the public charges. On the contrary, you have wasted the treasures of our forefathers, as they are called, the treasures amassed in the days of the Persian Wars. You give nothing, and in return, endanger our lives and liberties by your mistakes. Have you but one word to say for yourself? Don't irritate me, you there. Well, I'll lay my slipper across your jaw. It's pretty heavy.
Outrage upon outrage. Things are going from bad to worse. Let us punish the minxes. Every one of us that has a man's appendages to boast of.
Come, off with our tunics, for a man must savor of manhood. Come, friends, strip naked from head to foot. Courage, I say! We who in our day garrisoned Lysistrata, let us be young again and shake off eld.
If we give them the least hold over us, 'tis all up. Their audacity will know no bounds. You shall see them building ships and fighting sea fights like Artemisia. Nay, if they wish to mount and ride as cavalry, we'd best cashier the knights. For indeed, women excel in riding and have a fine, firm seat for the gallop.
Just think of all the squadrons of Amazons Mycon has painted for us engaged in hand-to-hand combat with men. Come then, let us inflict collars to all these willing necks.
By the blessed goddesses, if you anger me, I will let loose a beast of my passions, and a very hailstorm of blows will set you yelling for help. Come, dames, off tunics, and quicks the word. Women must scent the savor of women in the throes of passion.
And just you dare to warrant strength with me, old graybeard. And I warrant you, you'll never eat garlic or black beans more. Not a word. My anger is at a boiling point. And I'll do to you what the beetle did to the eagle's eggs. I laugh at your threats. So long as I have Lysistrata here on my side and the noble Theban, my dearest mania. Pass decree on decree, you'll do us no hurt, you wretched horde of all your fellows.
Why, only yesterday, on occasion of the Feast of Hebe, I asked my neighbors of Boisha for one of their daughters, for whom my girls have a lively liking, a fine fat eel to wit. And if they did not refuse, all along with your silly decrees.
We shall never cease to suffer the like, till someone gives you a neat trip up and breaks your neck for you.